Welcome to my channel. If you're new to my channel, I go over alchemic astrology that ties to astrotheology in the sky. And that's the only true way to understand astrology in my mind, because it's like a storybook in the sky. And you have to understand how this all relates to the original alphabets and also to the Kabbalah tree and how this decodes our reality. And until you have a real good grasp of what alchemy is and the placements in the tarot and everything, you don't really get the full gist of what it's trying to help you learn. And really, all these alchemic tools are teaching you how to work with your shadow so that you overcome fear and you become the true divine soul that is in bliss state. And this realm is based on polarity of good and evil, and you're either going to be, manipulated by the evil and see everything as bad, or you're going to gravitate away from that and get into a higher bliss state. And this is what I'm trying to help people learn through astrology. So we're going to go and decode Free Guy, which is a movie based on a simulated reality, which I do kind of believe we are in, like Elon Musk has said. And that the reason I believe that is because everything is working with alchemy. So the planets are ruling our behavior. So in a way, we are in a simulation. We're just following their emotional states, and we're being played by the energies of the planets. So you have to understand what the planets are trying to teach you. So we're going to decode Free Guy, and also that I didn't know that David Bowie had done a video game back in the 90s, and it's all based on the same premises as Free Guy. I also want to go over Adele's concert and what her symbolism is representing with Oprah Winfrey. Somebody had said that she had just done this concert. I didn't know about it. And when I looked at the interview, it was all alchemy that they were talking about, which you wouldn't know unless you understood the symbols. So we're going to go over some of these fun things. It's not too intense, and I'm going to go through the whole Free Guy movie. So if you haven't watched it and you don't want me to ruin it for you, go and watch it first, because I'm going to go through the whole movie, and then it's not going to be so fun for you to watch it if you haven't seen it. Or look at the symbolism and then go and watch it. It's up to you, but I am going to decode the whole movie, so you're going to know the whole plot. So the whole premise of the Free Guy movie is that it's a re-looping, kind of like the Truman Show, where they keep redoing the same thing, or Groundhog Day. And this guy gets up every day, wears a blue shirt, and he goes and works at the bank. He gets his coffee and cream, and then his friend works at the bank as well. Okay, so this is the whole thing. It's just constantly looping. Now there's people that have sunglasses on that don't speak to people that are in the loop. These I would represent them as the elite in this realm. They know the game and we don't. So the Free Guy, the blue shirt guy, he's an NPC, so a non-player character. And that's what we represent, because we don't understand the game. We don't know how to level up and gain points so that we don't have to keep working like a hamster on a wheel. Now, the highest level of alchemy is represented by the golden body. Now, I always see the goldfish, because the fish are soles of our feet, right? They're represented by Pisces. That's the spiritual constellation. So we're like fish, but we're stuck in a fishbowl, and we don't know that we're in a fishbowl. And you see the symbolism of the soles of the feet always, right? It's the soul is the fish is the soul, but you're the soul. So he's an NPC, blue shirt guy, that was programmed to always be looking for the love of his life, but never finding her. Then he sees her with the sunglasses on. He's not allowed to talk to her. Not supposed to talk to her. And she just basically ignores him because he's just an NPC. But she's a real player. So she's a real person that is playing with a skin, like as an avatar in the game. Okay, and she just thinks he's an AI. He's just he's a non-player character. But all of a sudden he starts to awaken, and he starts to, end up becoming connected to her. So alchemically, it's love that awakens you. So every day he works at the bank. He's a bank teller with his security friend, Buddy. And today he decides that he's going to take the guy's sunglasses, and instantly that player dies. And he puts on the sunglasses and he sees that he's like in a video game. He sees that there's way more going on that he ever knew. Okay, then he goes and buys these shoes, which he could never afford before. And these shoes make him able to jump really high. And then he sees this, emergency first aid kit. And if you walk into that, you basically re-heal. You never have a chance of being sick or injured. So the real creator of the game, her name is Millie, and that's the player that he's falling in love with inside the game. She's got dark hair inside the game. And she's the creator of this game called Life Itself, like exactly telling us this is our life. She created the game with her friend Walter, and his name is Keys. So he has the key. He's the coder. He's the AI coder. So they're good, right? They want to make a game that is interactive where people are just watching AI start to become able to learn and to upgrade themselves. But their game gets hijacked by this evil guy that wants it all to just be about fighting and war and misery, which I do believe that all ties into the Anunnaki story that this realm has been hijacked. Okay, the god of this realm is a jealous god. It's not the true god. Okay, so that's how that's all tying in. One of the weirdest things that have happened to me on my awakening process was about 5 years ago. I was on Gab, and I just, I maybe tweeted on there maybe 3 or 4 times. I happened to tweet one time on there saying that this realm is based on ones and zeros, like code, right? And instantly I got an email friend request from Donald J. Trump. It was instant. Okay, so that always stuck in my mind that it was like, oh, AI is watching. AI wants to know when we can figure this out. So then they have to get rid of this blue shirt guy because he's messing up the game. He's actually leveling up by doing good things because Millie told him to do that. She says, you're just a level number 1. You have to get higher up in the level. So he starts to do good deeds to get his level up higher. Instead of doing bad deeds and wanting to kill people, he wants to do things that are good. So Keys ends up dressing up as a cop, and his best friend, of course, dresses up as the rabbit, right? The rabbit, because that's the rabbit moon, and the moon is always part of the bad guy. The moon is a good guy, bad guy. I was listening to Steiner in a conversation where he's saying that the moon is a liar. Okay, so the understanding about the moon is there's a good and bad side to it. So he gets out of that mess, and because they're trying to kill him in the game, and then he goes to see Millie's stash, and he goes in there and he goes, "Is this the North Pole?" So it's always about the North Pole, right? It's like where Santa is. That's the other realm. Then he gets another pair of sunglasses so he can give them to his friend Buddy. But Buddy is too scared to take the sunglasses. He's comfortable in his re-looping life and where he's just working every day and he doesn't have to think outside the box. And so he's like, no, I can't do it. I can't take the sunglasses. And this is kind of where we're at right now, right? Being awakened souls, and we're trying to help awaken other people, and they don't want to. They don't want anything to do with it. So we see that representation in the movie. So Millie and Keys have to get inside the game and find the file that is showing that their game was stolen, that it was built on top of, Free City was built on top of their game. Okay, so they end up getting into the stash house to try to get this file. They get it, but then all these bad guys show up and start to try to kill him. And he actually starts to fight with somebody with a wheel in his hand, which is the wheel we're on, right? It's the great karmic wheel. It's the tarot card, the wheel, right? So it's representing that. So now they only have 48 hours because he's going to take down this version of the game and reload a higher version of it. And this is the guy, he would be considered the evil, guy that rules this realm, okay, of Free City. So they end up going to Blue Shirt Guy's stash house, and when they go in, it's a big sun with a light on them, and across is a red dot with all his guns, which is, to me, is the moon. We got the sun and the moon there. This is alchemy. They're showing a blood moon. Now, red and gold is the last stage of alchemy, either color. It's a marriage of red and white. She has to tell Blue Shirt Guy that the game is going to get taken down and that he's just an artificial intelligence, which he's like, shocked. And then he realizes he's nothing. He's just his world is a lie. And right after she tells him, we see the Skull and Bones, which is the Jolly Roger pirate ship flag, right? So we're back to the ship again. So when he's sad and he realizes, his world's bad, they're showing that's not good. You can't be angry because you've been fooled in this realm, because it puts you in a lower frequency of depressed state, and then you're now on the pirate ship. Okay, so being angry and criticizing, judging all the people that are showing you alchemic symbolism and seeing them as evil and they're terrible people, you're on the pirate ship when you do that. He's angry at all the other NPC players for not seeing what he can see, and he's shouting at them and telling them that they're dumb, and this is not good, right? So then eventually he goes to see if the world is fake or not, and he goes to the ocean, just kind of like in the Truman Show, and he touches and he sees that it's not real. Then he goes and tells his friend Buddy, says, I want to tell you something. I want to tell you that you're not real. And Buddy says, I don't care if I'm not real. And he goes, what do you mean you don't care you're not real and this world's not real? He goes, the only thing that's real is I'm sitting here with my friend who's not feeling well, and I'm here to support him, and this moment is real, and it's based on love. So then Buddy's friends with a real player that is also acting as a security guard, and that guy had seen the inside of the AI, that there was another world inside the game. And so he was all excited to see Blue Shirt Guy, because Blue Shirt Guy is becoming famous with all the players, right? And so that's really weird part, because he becomes a little sexual with him and he starts doing the snake dance. And to me, that is kind of like, Ophiuchius. It's like your sexual energy going up your kundalini, which gives you the key to get to the other realm. But they kind of do a perversion with it, But anyhow, that's the symbolism there. So they get the file that shows the other world, and on that file it says the number 56. So it's like 11. The character even that's doing the snake dance even mentions the Thanos hand, like what Trump mentions. And that's because the 8th house, which represents Scorpio, and the upper house of, is Ophiuchius. This is sexual energy. This has to do with death. And so it's your kundalini energy. And, Thanos is death. Now, the other world is inside the shades that he always opened and closed every day, which is showing kind of like light and dark, like the balance of light and dark, that you have to be in this balanced state to see the other realm, right? And it's in the shade, in the darkness, in the shadow you, half light, half dark. So the ruler of the realm, he gets so upset that he reboots the whole server. Okay, so he shuts the server down. So poor Blue Shirt Guy is, started over again with no memory of what he became, and he's just back in the loop again. So she tries to awaken him by kissing him, and by the love of kissing him, he awakens again. And that's when he remembers it's in the shades in his apartment. And then they know that it's built out beyond the wall in the ocean is the other realm. So then they gather in a park and they get all the other NPC players to stop fighting and stop being killed and take all their weapons away so that there's less, war going on. So then it gets so frustrating for the guy that wants them to be killed, the owner of the game, that he ends up creating this guy called Dude, which is the twin of Blue Shirt Guy. He has a blue shirt on his chest, but he's all muscular, but he has no brain, right? So he's fighting with him because he's there to kill him. So first he comes with I think this is an Avenger shield, with Venus. Now we got the Venus star. So that's really important. Then he gets the sword, like in Star Wars, which is Gemini. That's the Gemini card. The Lover's card in the tarot is ruled by Gemini, and it has a sword. that represents it. So he's fighting his twin, his Gemini twin. This part's hilarious. You see what he has in his hand? He has a unicorn, a rainbow unicorn, which is like an ox goad. It's like a weapon that you swing. And this goes with the Justice card, which is number 11, which is again like your twin, right? And that's Libra, the balance, right? It's like yin or yang. So eventually the strong dude guy pins him down, starts squishing his heart, and then blue shirt guy puts the glasses on him, and then instead of fighting him, he enlightens him. And then he's all happy and he's jumping around seeing all the the other realm, and he starts spinning on the pole, which is the tree of life, going around the pole, and he's happy. So he doesn't fight him anymore. So then the owner starts collapsing the universe by smashing the servers. And then Keys creates a bridge for them to get through the ocean to this other realm. Okay, and then that starts collapsing. And his friend's Buddy's there with him, and they're running, and they're trying to get to the end of the bridge to get to the other realm. But then the road separates, so his best friend ends up disappearing. He just crumbles and, gets taken out by the AI collapsing. And of course, he's a black guy. And this is partly why Biden's talking about Negroes. This is the first stage of alchemy. It's represented by blackness. It's called the Negrido. And so we have the black and the white. The second stage of alchemy is whiteness. It's be like the white goddess. The black is the past. The white is the future. The red and gold is the present. That's why you have to become the present. You have to become the gift. Live in the now. Don't worry about the future. Don't be angry about the past. Depression is living in the past. Anxiety is living in the future. Both really bad emotions. So they're all watching him. While in the real life, everybody's watching the game. So they're rooting for him. And he gets to the end of the bridge, and he turns into a spark. And he jumps. There's the city in the background. And he jumps onto Neverland. And there's Neverland. Okay, by a wall around it. It's like an ice wall. This would be like on the North mythology. It's always an ice wall around it. Okay, so it looks like a waterfall. Now, he's got one server left to kill this, and she's begging him not to. And she says, I don't need money. I don't want money. I don't want fame. I just want to have my beautiful world. Okay, so he's like, what do you mean you don't want money? And she's like, I don't care. He goes, are you stupid? You don't care about the money? And she's like, no, I don't care anymore. Because that's how you have to kind of detach yourself from this realm, is to not care about things, and caring about things and fame, your ego. It's all to do with love based, which is just wanting to live in the now and be at peace. So then everybody gets excited about watching their game, which is all to do with AI becoming more intelligent and not fighting. Then he's with Dude, so he ends up making up with Dude, but he misses his friend Buddy. Then he finds Buddy in the realm. So Buddy died, but Buddy is still alive. So they start walking down the street, and look, if you can see, I circled it, there's Chiron. There's the man with the horse body, and he is what goes with Ophiuchus. Okay, so he's the healer. He's the teacher. Chiron is the teacher that teaches Asclepius, who's the guy that holds the snake in Ophiuchus, that gets you through the doorway, through the 8th house, okay, of transformation. What's amazing is he says to him, what happened to you, buddy? I thought you died. And he goes, no, I had pixie dust sprayed on me. And then I ended up coming back here. So there you go. So if you die in this process of ascension, it doesn't mean you don't make it to Neverland. You just maybe get there in a different way, right? You don't do it in the way of, being enlightened. But somehow, I don't think just because your body doesn't make it, that you don't make it, right? It's really to do with your state of consciousness. So the whole reason that I watched this movie is because somebody mentioned that they saw Libra Justice at the end of the movie. So what a great find that they saw that. And then I was able to, watch it and see all the alchemic symbolism in this movie. It's fascinating. So I really do believe we're in some type of simulation where we just reloop, you die, you get reincarnated back, and you don't awaken until you start to see that there's more to this realm than just money and collecting things and, you know, just going through the motions. And we know how important the Fantasia movie is to the Green Man and to the opera that was sung on Lincoln Center in 1939 with it to Eva Maria, which is really Virgo. The black sunflower in that movie, the centaur that's black, and everybody thinks it's about racism, has to do with the first stage of alchemy, okay, which is the Negrido. So this is represented by a sunflower because the first stage of alchemy is black, but it's the black sun. Okay, so it's not just blackness, it has to do with the sun. And then the second stage, you transfer and bring the light into the whiteness. The sun creates the enlightenment from the black. Okay, so this is the first stage of alchemy. So we know the Justice card, number card 11, has to do with Venus. It's Libra, right? So Libra is Lamed. That's what represents Libra in the Hebrew alphabet. So that's Justice Omega. The other one that represents Venus is Vow, which is Taurus, which is ruled by Venus. So this is the Hierophant card, which is the Pope card. Number 5 is always Venus because of Taurus and the Pleiades, where the silver gate is. The silver gate between the horns of Taurus. It's really your third eye. So now we see on the wheel, Venus rules Taurus, but it's not totally opposite into the 8th house of Scorpio. The other one that it rules is Libra, which is Omega. This is called a quintal. 72 degrees aspect, and it's 1/5 of the zodiac. Esoteric information is passed through art. So Venus always has the mirror with her. It's really mirror, mirror on the wall, right? And so I started thinking about this, and why is it so important of Taurus, and then we have Libra. But this is where the blood moon is at midnight on May 15th next year. We have the sun in Taurus with Ariadne, which is like the labyrinth, right? Taurus is the labyrinth. So the sun is there with the keeper of the labyrinth. And then we have the blood moon at midnight in Libra. So it's a Venus-Venus. It's a mirror, mirror. And I'm like, oh my God, that's it. It's mirror, mirror on the wall. The sun and the blood moon. They showed us in the Free Guy movie. Anybody that's taken a reading with me knows I always go on about Venus with the mirror at the top of the ladder, being at bliss state, at theta state. But yes, you have to fight for justice, but you have to do it like Blue Shirt Guy does, with love and compassion. You can't go around calling people names, telling people they're stupid because they're not as enlightened as you are. And what's that? That has nothing to do with being an enlightened soul. Telling people, you know, we were all asleep. So that's not nice, you know. So the whole point is, that's the alchemy. They were showing us alchemy through this whole show. And the people with the sunglasses are just playing at a different level. The elite of this realm know the game. Okay, we're just the NPCs. So if you want to level up, you have to start to, you know, do things, good deeds, so that you become more enlightened. And Venus represents the pentagram, so it makes sense it's a quintal, you know, number 5, the 5th of the zodiac. And the real queen that has the mirror is Cassiopeia, the poppy queen, the opium. I guess she can put you to sleep or she can awaken you, which is really who Ariadne is. She represents the sleeping beauty of consciousness, and in whether you awaken out of the labyrinth or not, okay, which is what we're in. We're in a labyrinth. Now here it is in the sky. You can see the sun is not quite directly across from the blood moon, almost, but that's why it makes it a quintal, because it's just a little bit off. And then you can see what's in the sky. We have the ship, and we have the centaur, Chiron, the two, okay, right in between the sun and the moon at this midnight on May 15th. And I'm going to get into this more. It's absolutely mind-blowing how Bowie has told us this date. And so is Trump, but I'll save that for another video. I'm going to end this video here as part 1. And then the second part is really going into alchemy more and explaining it through David Bowie's video game. And also with Adele's last performance she did. This is